Welcome to Inside Games, the only channel brave enough to not apologize for anything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we don't have anything to apologize for. Even if we did, we wouldn't be apologizing for it because we don't have anything to apologize for. It's great.
That's right. In case you can't tell, we graduated from the Activision Blizzard School of Disaster Response this week, which, given how the week has gone for the company, we should probably ask for a refund from that school.
Their first response to last week's unprecedented lawsuit sure did anger a lot of people, and then it got even worse.
It's been a bad week for Activision Blizzard, but well-deserved.
Shocking no one. A whole load of info, statements, and actions have taken place since the Activision Blizzard lawsuit came to light last week.
Yeah, we'll do a quick recap of last week's story. The State of California Department of Fair Employment and Housing is suing game developer and publisher Activision Blizzard for the systemic discrimination of women in the workplace involving unequal pay, lack of promotions, sexual harassment towards women, citing current and past events dating back to the early 2010s. The agency is seeking injunctive and monetary relief and damages on behalf of the women affected.
Since the case first went public, several heads of Activision Blizzard wrote to the staff regarding the situation. On July 22nd, Activision President Rob Kostich sent a group message saying the accusations are, quote, deeply disturbing, and everyone, quote, deserves to be treated with dignity, equality, and respect at all times.
Lawrence, if there's one thing that you and I love, it's executive emails, right?
Oh gosh, they're always so effective and genuine. That's what I love.
Blizzard President J. Allen Brack then emailed employees on July 23rd, sharing that he found the allegations extremely troubling. Following that, quote, it goes without saying it is completely unacceptable for anyone in the company to face discrimination or harassment.
Brack then explained that when originally accepting his position, he informed Activision head Bobby Kotick that he was taught to value women as equals, followed by then discouraging the supposed frat boy culture that was being claimed against the company, relaying that he's spent his career to prevent it from happening.
So we're already up to 2 different executive emails, which we love, none of which really provide a clear message as to how the company will respond or what will be done next.
But you know what? When it comes to executives that send words, there's always room for one more. Activision Blizzard's Executive Vice President for Corporate Affairs, Francis Townsend, decided that contrition is well out of style and it's time to start throwing a couple of elbows.
On July 23rd, Townsend blatantly stated that the lawsuit submitted against them, quote, presented a distorted and untrue picture of our company, including factually incorrect, old, and out-of-context stories. She continued by rallying, quote, the Activision companies that I know are great companies with good values, explaining that when she joined the company, she knew she would be treated equally and respectfully.
The executive finished her statement expressing that the lawsuit was, quote, truly meritless and irresponsible, and that the company will continue to, quote, ensure quality opportunities for all employees.
It is worth noting that Activision Blizzard hired Townsend in March of 2021, so that was just a few months ago, which means she might truly believe what she is saying, but also means she's not really qualified to say that accounts of events that happened before her hire are truthful or not.
Still, we're 2 days into the work week now, and there have been 3 different response communications from 3 different executives. The most recent of which reads as aggressive, dismissive, and just say it's just corporate as hell. It certainly doesn't send the signal that Activision Blizzard is organized and ready to respond and really change like they need to.
Other former Blizzard staff, specifically those who had executive positions, also made their own statements regarding the allegations.
First up, Mike Morhaime, co-founder and former CEO of Blizzard Entertainment, shared his thoughts, saying he is ashamed and that this news is contrary to everything he worked for regarding making the company a safe work environment. Notably, he addresses the women affected by this, saying, quote, I am extremely sorry that I failed you. He then promises to use his position of power to influence the industry to, quote, combat misogyny, discrimination, and harassment.
Diablo co-creator Chris Metzen posted, quote, we failed, and I'm sorry, on Twitter, stating, quote, there is no excuse for the treatment of women during and after his employment at the company.
Metzen also mentioned his relationship with Alex Afrasiabi, named specifically in the suit as inappropriately touching his female employees at BlizzCon in his room, which coworkers dubbed the Cosby Suite, which is, probably a reference to the now convicted sexual assaulter Bill Cosby. There was some weird conversation about that. I saw people trying to dismiss it as, oh no, it was a reference to the cheap rug in the room or a conference room at Blizzard, but actually Kotaku, I have to say, did some great reporting and debunking a lot of those potential other explanations. Like, let's be real, come on.
Metzen continued, we never interacted outside of story jams. Quote, we never really interacted outside of doing the work or taking smoke breaks. And this is in regard to Alex Afrasiabi.
Afrasiabi quietly left the company in 2018. However, Blizzard confirmed in a statement to Kotaku that the studio exec was fired for, quote, misconduct in his treatment of other employees, end quote, after he received his own personal investigation.
Unfortunately, that same Kotaku report also included a photo of the Cosby Suite itself, which we were just talking about, along with screen captures of current and former Blizzard employees discussing, quote, gathering the hot chicks for the cause, end quote, claiming that, quote, Afrasiabi can't marry all of them, end quote, and subtly joking that, quote, you misspelled fuck, end quote. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure the Cosby Suite is exactly what we all think it is, which is fucking terrible.
This whole story is just so gross. It's just crappy dudes all packed into one little ball, and ugh. It's like that image of them all around the stupid Cosby thing. It's like you could smell it. It's just like light beer and body odor and entitlement. Ugh, just get out of here.
So on one hand, you got Townsend saying the lawsuit is truly meritless and irresponsible. But I mean, it's right there. You saw the picture. We talked about the Cosby Suite. It's right there, Townsend. It's right there.
This obviously didn't make Blizzard employees feel too great. They voiced their discontent in contrast, a remarkably clear and organized way. On Monday, July 26th, the group released an open letter to the heads of the company denouncing Francis Townsend's statement as, quote, abhorrent and insulting to all that we believe our company should stand for. Ooh. The letter continues stating that their, quote, values as employees are not accurately reflected in the words and actions of our leadership. Alongside
the letter were a list of demands from employees, including the resignation of Townsend as executive sponsor of the ABK Employee Women's Network, another position she holds outside of EVP. As of recording, she has yet to do so.
Other demands include an end to mandatory arbitration clauses, adoption of representation among employees at all levels, publication of data on pay and promotion rates for employees of all genders and ethnicities, as well as a third-party task force to audit the company's reporting structure, human resources department, and executive staff.
And this is what makes all of this a massive, massive deal. Activision Blizzard employees collectively denouncing their own company gets picked up on mass market outlets like CNN Business, which causes the company's stock to dive, again, well-deservedly, the following morning on July 27th.
So when the stock starts moving, it's time to kick old Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick out of the coffin he's hibernating in and have him rally up the troops. Show some of that leadership we're used to.
On the same day, Kotick wrote a letter to all Activision Blizzard employees, good old executive emails, recognizing, quote, our initial responses to the issues we faced together and to your concerns were, quite frankly, tone deaf.
Kotick confirms that he, as well as the entire company, are taking the allegations at hand very seriously and, quote, will not hesitate to take decisive action.
Additionally, Activision will be implementing listening sessions, leadership evaluations, diverse candidate slates across all open positions, and the removal of in-game content that is deemed inappropriate from either employees or consumers. This included in-game references to former creative director Alex Afrasiabi, which was confirmed via a statement from the World of Warcraft team on Twitter, in which said references existed.
It might also include Overwatch's Jesse McCree, the namesake for which can be seen joking about sex in the Cosby Suite text chain.
Also worth noting, Kotick announced that the company hired law firm WilmerHale to, quote, conduct a review of our policies and procedures to ensure that we have and maintain best practices to promote a respectful and inclusive workplace.
FYI on that one, WilmerHale doesn't really offer the most pro-worker menu of services as a law firm. Most notably in the past, they have helped stop Amazon employees from unionizing. According to the WilmerHale website, the company promotes its experience advising their clients on union awareness and avoidance.
It's likely that Activision Blizzard is hiring them for their investigative services rather than your union-busting ones, but it's not likely to raise tons of confidence in the employees that are looking for signs of meaningful and long-lasting change.
Not to mention that the first and most immediate thing they did in response to a lawsuit was hire a legal firm to audit their policies. I mean, that's what you do when you're trying to convince people that you're not going to get sued again, but that's what kind of makes it feel like Blizzard executives are treating their employees like they're investors. Like they're trying to demonstrate, no, we're going to keep making money, it'll be fine. And the employees are like, you don't get that we're asking for human things here. There just seems to be a total disconnect there.
Speaking of human narrative, Blizzard Entertainment employees continued to demonstrate solidarity with a staff walkout on Tuesday, July 27th, with employees offered paid time off if they participated.
Currently, Upper Crit reports that Activision Blizzard is working on, quote, active discussion sessions instead of the meetings they had originally planned. So, you know, tomato, tomato there, I guess.
According to the report, Blizzard head of PR Susie Carr emailed staff stating, quote, starting tomorrow, members of the Activision Publishing executive leadership team, Terry Durham, Joanna Ferries, Rob Kostic, Dave Stoll, Josh Taub, and me, together as a collective, are hosting a number of active discussion sessions for up to 30 people.
So the email made really no mention of the company walkout nor the demands made by the staff.
And that just about wraps up what may amount to the worst week ever for Activision Blizzard, at least from an employee morale and PR perspective.
If there's one continuing narrative between current and former members of Blizzard and members of every other dev studio who have chosen this moment to speak about their experiences, is that this isn't just a Blizzard thing. This is an industry-wide thing. Blizzard is essentially not exceptional when it comes to these working conditions.
Ubisoft, another company who has dealt with sexual harassment in the recent past, had workers both past and present also write an open letter to their company.
Yeah, this letter in particular is a bit more broad and calling for, quote, Activision, Blizzard, Ubisoft, and other industry-leading publishers and developers to collaborate and agree to a set of rules and processes for handling reports of these offenses.
A sort of United Nations of gaming? An interesting idea that would hopefully be a little more effective than the actual United Nations.
Ooh, man, from downtown with the United Nations burn, like 10 minutes into the episode, too.
And just like Bobby Kotick, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot wrote to all employees in response to the letter, restating the commitment the leadership team has to creating change for the company.
Guillemot explains that in the past year, Ubisoft has, quote, implemented new anonymous reporting tools, revamped our HR processes, including new global policies to prevent and manage discrimination, retaliation, harassment, installed a new code of conduct, rolled out mandatory training, established a content review group, and are bringing in new leadership across major studios, HR, D&I, editorial, and production.
It all sounds great. I hope it's happening. The CEO finished his statement promising another update in Q3, as well as encouraging employees to provide ongoing feedback.
At this point, that's where we are. Time will tell if meaningful changes in the future for Ubisoft, Activision Blizzard, and maybe any other kind of scummy developer that's sweating under the collar right now.
Just as before, all we can do is extend our sympathy to those that have suffered harassment or systemic career suppression, and hope that all of this nastiness is just the first step to a truly better future for everybody in our industry and lots of other industries.
But on that note, on the future, what really does the future look like for Activision Blizzard or Blizzard Entertainment right now, practically speaking?
Kind of scared to think about, really, to be honest. This is also roughly unprecedented territory for a games company, so it's just really hard to say what comes next.
Part of it is going to rely on just how vicious the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing wants to get. It's possible, since this is the first sort of case of this kind in this industry, they want to make a big example and scare other developers straight. So it could get really intense. We'll see. I mean, if Activision Blizzard doesn't just settle right away.
But even presuming that Activision Blizzard cuts a settlement check, and that's that, there's going to be long-lasting fallout from this week's events. And hopefully people will be thinking about this and using it for a very, very long time.
Brief aside here, we're about to offer some analysis and predictions for the future of Blizzard Entertainment as a games company. Part of that, we'll be speaking practically and somewhat empirically about the company as a money-making property. So, yeah, we're not trying to bang our fists on the table and demand like WoW expansions as fast as possible. That's not what we're into.
No, we in no way mean to suggest that video games and money are more important than the human issues at hand. More that if a company stops making money, then consequences are inevitable, regardless of the moral circumstances.
Yeah, unfortunately. So, all right. So now that we've disclosed that, we're not inhuman monsters. What's going to happen to Activision Blizzard now?
Yeah. Well, they had plenty of trouble finishing and shipping games, and this is not going to help at all.
Yes. Senior system designer Jeff Hamilton revealed that, understandably, all work has basically stopped on World of Warcraft, which has been Blizzard's big revenue driver for the past decade plus at this point.
Depending on how quickly Blizzard Entertainment can meaningfully re-engage their employees, that work stoppage could have serious ripple effects in Blizzard's release calendar.
Near as we can tell at this point, there are a few big factors that'll decide the near future for Blizzard Entertainment. First, and this is something that I'm pretty sure is going to happen, expect to see Blizzard employees start to trickle out of the company over the coming months. You can bet that a lot of Blizzard employees started brushing up their resume this week. I certainly would. The second that email, man.
Second, adjusting existing workflows and management structures to accommodate for outside audits and new compliance procedures can generally just slow productivity as well. This will require a shift in Blizzard Entertainment's managerial culture, and that just does not happen overnight or without effort. It's gonna be a lot of effort for that.
Not to mention, while that's going on, you have good employees who are tired of working at the company trying to get out, and bad employees that are probably trying to crawl out the bathroom window before they get found and punished. So it's going to be it's like they're changing managerial processes while people are leaving and new positions are getting filled. It's going to be pretty chaotic.
Finally, and this is kind of obvious, employee morale's just got to be in the shitter. If I worked for Activision Blizzard, they put out an email like that, and I saw them refusing a major sexual harassment suit that all the blogs are covering. I would just be like, all right, well, I'm going to go home. I'll see you later. And nobody would tell me to stop. They'd be like, okay, like that would be it.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully every employee at Activision Blizzard takes like a nice 2-week vacation right now on the corporate dime. Because, yeah, what are they going to do? And that's the first thing I would, like, these people got to profit off of my work. Well, it's time to get some of that money back. I'd come into work with a backpack. I'd go right into the kitchen and I would just start filling it up with snacks and sodas, and then I'd just go home. And that's what I'd live off of for the next couple months.
Just purely looking at Activision Blizzard's relationship with its own employees, it's clear their investor relationships are damaged as well.
Yeah, it's kind of bad all around. On that front, so this is kind of good news for Activision Blizzard in a who cares sort of way. For people who don't own homes or have investment accounts, but investors actually don't have much of a reason to be mad at Activision Blizzard right now.
They've posted ridiculous gains over the past 2 years, growing from $6.4 billion in revenue in 2018 to $8.57 billion in 2020. Investors even voted to approve a bonus for Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick in June, though the yes-no voting margin is shrinking.
Yeah, I think it was like 52% this year, and that's down from previous years, so he still got his money, but... So that drives me to the most depressing point I think where we might make this entire script. Since the yes-no margin on Kotick's bonus was already pretty small, and this whole thing can basically be traced to him as CEO of the company and botching the response, investors might not vote for him to get a bonus this year.
No! Bobby! Just to put the money in perspective, Activision Blizzard earned $8.57 billion net revenue in 2020, and Blizzard Entertainment contributed $1.9 billion of that total revenue.
So Blizzard Entertainment is a significant portion of Activision Blizzard's revenue. If it evaporated overnight, the investors would flip out because that would be like, 25% of the company's revenue just gone? But it's not all of it. It's not even a majority of it. So just to kind of put that in perspective from an investor's perspective.
WoW subs are likely to bleed out slowly versus revenue falling off a cliff, like if a more traditional game release were to be delayed out of a particular fiscal year.
Yeah, and Blizzard Entertainment, theoretically, has Diablo Immortal on deck to release this year. At least that's what they announced a while ago. So if they actually do hit that date, and I don't know why it hasn't come out yet, which is, I don't know. I don't understand why it takes 3 years to make a mobile game that was already playable. Anyway, good God. All right, so let's say it comes out and it's a hit and everyone loves spending money on Diablo Immortal. They could have a nice bumper crop of mobile game revenue this year.
Lawrence, I think I say it every single episode of Inside Games. Here's how you can actually tell Blizzard that you do not want to support their terrible company culture. You don't download the video game. Don't play the game. Don't give them any microtransactions. And that will tell them that they are fucking up, and that will help right the ship. I promise you that.
I'd like to believe that there are people who would do that to stand by their principles. I'd like to believe there are enough of them to make a difference. I'd like to believe all of those things. I'd like to believe that if Diablo Immortal comes out this year and somebody could stream it and get a lot of viewers and a lot of channel growth by talking about it, I'd like to believe that in that moment that person would say, no, there's more important things. And they wouldn't say to themselves, you know what? They announced that they're putting in some programs or whatever. That's good enough for me. I'd like to believe that.
Still, Activision Blizzard's stock recovered somewhat from the July 27th sell-off, but then it went back down to its lower point later on in the week. So this seems to demonstrate that some investors, including me, by the way, have lost faith that Activision Blizzard management can turn this mess around. I was looking at it and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking sell the stock. like I'm just gonna get rid of it because it pissed me off. I honestly, like, this garbage company cult. You know what? Fuck it. I'll just do it right now. I'll just do it right now. I have stock in like every video game company ever because I love video games, but I'm gonna get rid of this.
So with employees losing faith in the company and investors seemingly kind of losing faith in the company, which is wild because they've been making crazy money for them, one way or the other, I'm sorry to say it, but it does seem like times are about to get pretty lean for Blizzard Entertainment.
Yeah, get ready for the, quote, "we can't have a company party this year" email.
You know, that WilmerHale money, it's got to come from somewhere, and you can bet it ain't going to be Bobby Kotick's salary.
If Bobby Kotick gets his bonus, Bobby, I'm speaking directly to you. Put that bonus into the WilmerHale fund. Show us in an email that you did it. Because I promise you, that will actually build a little good, just a tiny bit of good faith if you do it. You're not going to do it, but you should.